is INCRadio DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Sure to read them throughout the show. Back to you, Sister Macy.
Welcome back to another episode of Explore Mountain States.
That's it for the weather update.
Moving on to our district news update.
Only here
on INCRadio Mountain States.
Hello. Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening. You're tuning in here live to INCRadio Mountain States. I am your host for today, Sister Princess Rosano, broadcasting live from Las Vegas, Nevada. I wanted to say that the weather was getting cooler because yesterday it was cold and it was windy, but then I went outside today and it was hot and I was sad because I didn't need my jacket when I went out. But I have high hopes that it's going to get colder, so start to prepare for the cold weather. To all of our Vegas viewers, for anyone else watching from the other states of Mountain States, I don't know what your weather is like right now, but I hope it's starting to get cooler. And for anyone around the world, let us know what your weather is like. I know that in the Philippines, it's probably just humid, because it usually is. Good morning to those on the east side of the world as well. Anyway, I'm not here alone. I do want to give a hello to our Ate Mai. Hi, Ate Mai. How you doing?
Good afternoon, Ate Princess. I'm doing good. Yep, enjoying the weather. My Goldilocks weather, not too hot, not too cold. My favorite weather of the year. So yeah.
100%. I know. You know, after living in Vegas nearly my whole life, pretty much all of my life, you would think that by now I'm like used to this weather, but it's still like complain about the heat when it gets too hot, and I'll complain about the cold when it gets too cold. But you know, around this time as it's transitioning into the cold weather is perfect because you don't have to bundle up so much for the cold, but you also aren't just like hot in your clothes, sweating all the time. So you're right. It's pretty much a really good state right now for the weather. But anyway, we wanted to thank everyone for tuning in here live to INCRadio Mountain States. We're always excited to have you here. For our topic today, if you didn't already know, it is practicing patience. A very, I would say, useful, beneficial topic for anyone tuning in, you know, because sometimes life just gets to us. It really tests our limits and it's hard to stay calm sometimes. So in this episode, we wanted to discuss the topic about practicing patience and how mastering this skill can really improve our daily life. We want to be able to reduce the stress that we feel. So we're going to be talking about some practical ways and strategies that we can utilize to help us stay patient. And a lot of it is, you know, from personal experience. I'm no expert, but I will say that I do have some experience with my patients being tested from time to time with the challenges I've faced. I don't know. How about you, Ate Mai?
Yeah, just relatable experiences that we all had. As human beings, you know, we're messy.
Especially so.
It will get twisted, and at some point we will fail, but we can only learn, right?
100%. I totally believe that. But you know, while we're here on YouTube, if you're watching, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel. I just learned today that, you know, you need to subscribe in order to comment. So if you want something to say, you have something to input, you have insight you want to share, you better be just subscribe to INCRadio, not Mountain States, but INCRadio DCEM 954, and you can notify yourself whenever INCRadio Mountain States does have a show by hitting that notification bell. So please do so. And if you haven't already, leave your comments and greetings, leaving your hashtag local congregation so that we can read your greetings. We can see who's participating and staying engaged with us. And we can also hear your insight, especially for today's topic about practicing patience. I would love to hear anyone who has insight. And actually, we do have a question for our live chat. And we want to ask you, when do you find yourself most impatient? When do you find yourself most impatient? So is there a specific time when you're sitting in traffic or maybe when you have a deadline? Tell us your experiences when you find yourself most impatient. But for now, I do want to say hello to everybody who is tuning in. We do have our live chat happening. It's going, it's moving. I would love to see more of our viewers tuning in and leaving their comments. We want to give a first shout out to our first commenter of the day. It's Ka Justin Ramos. Hi, Ka Justin. He says, good afternoon, brethren. Thank you to INCRadio Mountain States for another awesome episode. Hashtag Gilbert. Thank you, Paul. We have Kadana Palisok saying, good afternoon, Mountain States, for INCRadio Mountain States, and to all the brethren, hashtag Salt Lake City. Kashay says, hello to everyone. Happy watching from Las Vegas. And then Kajasan does agree that the weather is getting cooler in Arizona. Arizona has a stinging heat. The sun stings there. I know the summers are actually, I would say, worse than Las Vegas. So I'm happy that it's getting cooler in Arizona. So Justin, I'm glad it's getting cooler for you. So for anyone who's tuning in and who is watching, please, please, please leave all of your comments and your greetings. That way we can say hello to you. We love engaging with you and love engaging with our viewers here. So we're going to move on and dive straight into our topic, Atamai, practicing patience. What is patience itself? All of the good stuff. I feel like maybe this past month has tested my patience a lot. So that'll be fun to discuss and just get everybody's opinions on, how I've approached things possibly, or maybe if you have something to share, Atamai, but let's actually define patience. We know what it is, but what would you define patience as, Atemai? What would you say?
For me, it's a virtue that I really need this point in my life. There are a lot of delays, right? A lot of frustrations, and without patience, I don't think I will be able to move on and learn from those setbacks. So yeah, it is something that it is very beneficial to learn.
Oh, 100%. Yeah. I agree. When we're defining patience, I feel like patience is this ability to, stay calm and just wait calmly for something or for the result or the outcome or whatever the situation is without getting so stressed or frustrated. Patience is not just about waiting, but also maintaining a certain type of attitude with, like a positive attitude or something similar. Sometimes I find myself being patient, but not always having that positive attitude. Like I'll just wait there calmly in frustration. Like traffic, when you're sitting in traffic and you just need it to go. So I don't know if that's being patient, if my attitude says otherwise. I'm angry and I'm like, I just need to get to work. Sometimes I have to drive across town for work, but so when you're patient, you have that ability to be able to wait. So I would assume that your attitude also plays a part in that. Would you agree out there?
Yeah, definitely. At the princess, it's your outlook. It's a mindset. Like you a lot of times we want to control being we don't want to be impatient because a lot of times it can cloud our decision making too. Instead of finding the solution to the problem, if we're impatient, we're gonna do something that will worsen the situation. So
yeah, you're right. It is the mindset. Your attitude totally it does play a big part and a big role in what you would consider as being patient. Because when you're frustrated, like you said, it clouds your judgment. It can affect your decision making. So staying patient with that calmness and a positive attitude, that is patience in itself. And Ka Justin mentioned this, and it's true because I don't know if everybody in Mountain States has watched it, but patience. A part of patience is happily waiting. And so that's from the movie that you'll be seeing this weekend for our district in Mountain States, Guerrero 3. It's a great movie. We watched it.
I was crying. That was for our local congregation. I was crying at the end. I
Oh
was
yes.
that ending.
I
Yeah.
don't want to say all of the movie because I know we still have brethren in Mountain States who still need to watch it, but I will say they do talk about, with your emotions, and patience is truly one of the keys that we need to have. So yes, thanks for bringing this up, because it is timely for us to have the showing of Guerrero tres, or three, and so we're excited for our brethren to watch it, and it does tie in our topic, so that's awesome. When we're talking about patience, I like what you said out there about it being a mindset. For me, I think sometimes I'll struggle with patience because I like that immediate gratification. I need something now. But when we're talking about how patience can be beneficial to us, it allows us to be able to reduce our stress and anxiety, right? How do you feel like being patient has helped you in moments of stress or like high stress situations?
Um, well, being patient is kind of reminding myself that it's just a day, or it's just a chore, or if you're stuck in a traffic, it's just few minutes of your time. And
Mhm.
I think to relieve the stress, I, mind shifting to taking the responsibility and standing up for the instead of blaming others is a huge thing. So
Mhm.
instead of honking my horn, I'll be like, next time, I will wake up earlier, or next time, I'll prepare everything so I don't be late. Taking
Yeah.
responsibility for situations that will make you impatient helps in reducing those stress and
Yeah.
getting angry.
Just
Yeah.
avoiding what we already know will make you impatient. So
Mhm.
like you said, leaving your house earlier. And I like how you said that it's just your day. Like I saw somewhere, or there's a saying like, don't bend a dollar to pick up a dime. Or like there's this comparison: if you had $100 and you lost the $1, are you gonna really
We
sacrifice
did.
for
Yeah.
$99 just to save that $1? So would you sacrifice like a moment of your day from being impatient, being frustrated, when you can, it's just a small portion of your day that's made you more frustrated, something like that. I like that out there. That's good insight. We also have some insight coming from our live chat. So Ate Macy, hi Ate Mace, she's tuned in. She also says that the movie was very timely. And then Anthony Arangay says, patience to me is the ability to keep doing something should be done, even though it's not producing the results you want. Ooh, and sounds like perseverance is in there too. I like that a lot. That's an interesting take, to be able to keep doing something that should be done, and even though it's not producing those results you want, you still continue to do that, pushing forward. With patience itself, I think what can be a challenge in itself is kind of that, Anthony, like you're doing something and it's just not those results that you want. So I guess, Anthony, we're going to ask you, if you have the time to type in the chat, how do you maintain that patience? What do you typically do? It sounds like a lot of perseverance, but if you're not getting those results consistently, how do you stay calm and keep doing whatever you need to do in order to finish if you're not getting what you want to get out of it? That's a good take. Another question we can throw out to the rest of the audience is, how can we let go of control and then just trust the process? So, when you're not producing the results, how do I know I can just trust that process? But, with patience, it does help us in many ways, whether it be in those mundane situations where we're driving to work, staying calm there, keep us away from, getting frustrated. It also helps us with professional growth too, like you mentioned at my earlier, better decision making, being able to have that conflict resolution and overall successes with that. I've seen differences from my early college years to now in my adulthood with how I make my decisions. Because back then my patience is very little. I joke about not having patience now, but I will say that back then my patience was a little more thin than it is now. And so when you have the mindset of being able to approach a situation calmly, you're correct. Your judgment is less clouded, and you can make decisions more strongly, and with more confidence. And it's usually the best decision rather than just acting on this emotion and in frustration. Have you seen that in your experience, Ate?
Yeah, I do, especially when you feel like you're putting all the effort and not seeing instant results. Like, when is this going to happen? I feel like I've been here for years, but if you really make uh, you know, the way there enjoyable, like picking up pieces that you would appreciate, celebrate those small progress,
Yes.
that's how I, you know, try to approach my going back to school for my getting my degree. I know I'm very late in the game, and there was a time when I felt like I missed the boat and didn't want to try. But now that I did, and just enjoy the process, take it slow, and enjoy everything at that time. Like, enjoy the learning, the process, and instead of focusing on the end goal, really, it made my patience a little longer,
Mhm.
much longer than it was back then when I was taking up and seeing everybody graduate, and I'm like, no, I don't think I have time for this. But now that I'm focused more on the process more than the end goal, it's more doable and enjoyable. So
You
it
know,
it helps.
it's crazy that we were just talking about that. You're almost done.
Before we get on air.
It went by so quickly, and I think sometimes that's something we forget when we lack that patience, is in that moment when you're frustrated or stressed about something, we forget how quickly things will just move forward and how quickly the world will just continue to spin around us. And so I feel like your example to that, well, first of all, I just want to say you're not ever late in the game, Ate. I don't think it's ever too late to go back to school, and I give a lot of kudos to you. Not just because you have a lot, to that goes on in your life, and being able to not only just take care of your family, but also to further yourself in your successes. First of all, I want to give a lot of kudos to you, because you do need a lot of patience for that. And it can be at times daunting for, a lot of people to want to go back to school and try to finish it out when they already have so much on their plate. So yes, you have a lot of patience, and I want that to be recognized. And something you said is that kind of spoke out to me too, is appreciating the process, instead of being frustrated with it. Because again, that moment can go by so quickly, just like how you're schooling. It just went by so quickly before you even know it. I want to mention some of the stuff that our audience is saying. Like Ate Macy said, patience also equals faith. When we pray for something, it may not be answered right away. And if we are faithful, we should wait, or know to wait, to be patient. Client Anthony was able to answer my question. I asked, how do you continue if you're not getting the results you need? How do you stay patient? And he mentioned something similarly. He says, I keep on being patient through lots of prayer and finding happiness in the tasks, which for the most part is knowing that when the one I fulfill my task for God is happy with what I do. And so similar, right? Finding that happiness and appreciating the process, like Atemai mentioned. So Anthony says to you that you're almost there, Atemai. For someone who's been there before, it is worth the arduous journey. Arduous. Am I pronouncing that correctly?
Ooh, big word.
It is a big word. What does it mean? Define arduous. It's involving or requiring strenuous effort. Oh, I've never used that word before, so that's going to be added to my personal vocabulary list. Exactly, yeah. And then the one more I want to read is from Kaferdi. He says, choosing the right people to hang out with or associate with is also important. The right friends are the ones who will boost your patience and not run it out. He's correct.
Yes.
Pretty, I mean, they always say, ask me who your friends are and I'll tell you who you are. And that's correct. If you have supportive friends and loved ones who are there for you and who also model that type of patience, even with your partner, I will give a lot of credit to my fiance. He shows a lot of patience for me whenever I'm stressed, and I always do my best to mirror that. So I feel like that's one of the reasons why our relationship is successful, is because of the patience that he shows me and that I do my best to always mirror back to him. So thanks for that insight as well, Cuthbert. We really appreciate it. There's a lot of different challenges that comes to being patient, but we kind of talked about it, with wanting that instant gratification. I know I suffer from instant gratification a lot of the times, whenever you have that itch that needs to be scratched right away. And it can be difficult, especially like with modern life. You have that need for quick results, especially with social media and technology. It has made it a little bit more difficult to be patient, especially our attention span is boom, 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 on to the next. But again, I really, really enjoyed what you said, Ate, about appreciating the process. And then Anthony mentioned, finding the happiness in what you're doing. So I love this so far. We have a lot more to talk about, really. We are going to go on a short station break, but I want everyone to continue to stay tuned. If you haven't already answered our question, the question we asked earlier to our audience viewers was, in what situation are you most impatient in? And I still want to hear some of our answers from our audience members. And maybe you, up in I'm trying to think of something I'm always like really impatient in. And
I feel like I will be exposing myself if I share.
It's okay, then we can expose me. I don't want to be exposed. Advice.
Being a mother of 5, I have a lot to say about being impatient.
Okay,
right?
perfect. But before we do talk about that, we're going to go on a short station break. So please continue to stay tuned here on INC Radio. We would love to hear your insight, hear your answers, and hopefully you'll get to learn a little bit more of a perspective on practicing patience. So again, we're going on a short station break, but we will be right back. We'll see you soon.
You are listening to Iglesia Ni Cristo Radio, the voice of truth.
When was the last time you made someone smile? When was the last time you made friends with others?
Yes, please. Hi, this is Amaya. Hello, Amaya. Let's play together.
Include, invite, befriend. A small gesture of friendship can make someone's day. A message from INCRadio Mountain State Satellite Studio.
Radio Mountain States. It is currently 4:24 p.m. Pacific Time, 5:24 p.m. Mountain Time, and 7:24 a.m. in the Philippines. Now 7:25. We just passed the minute. So we wanted to say thanks for tuning in here on INC Radio Mountain States. I have 20 more minutes left in the show, and if you haven't already been tuning in and just tuned in now, we are talking about practicing patience. So a lot of the discussion involved what patience is and, how we can overcome some of these challenges and the mindset of patience itself. And so we kind of want to dive deeply more into this and explore some of the ways we can stay patient. What do we do in that moment rather than just, thinking or having this certain type of mindset? So one of the examples I keep using is staying in traffic. What do you do or what can you do? For me, I'm going to be honest, I don't really get road rage and I don't really get too frustrated in traffic so much. I know that I can get frustrated if I'm running late, but like you said, Ate, the best way to avoid it is just to prepare better. So just leave earlier, but if I am in a situation, whether it be traffic or something else that I just in the moment can't control and I'm just stressed out, what do? Well, my mom likes to go, just breathe, just calm down and take your breaths. And deep breathing is what I like to do. Do you do any exercises out there to help you calm and like regulate your emotions?
Definitely. I'm a big advocate of, what do you call intentional breathing, because they really work for me, especially in the morning, you know, when you're like running late and you feel like, you have a lot of things to do and you need to get out in the next 10 seconds and you're halfway done. Breathing really helps me focus and stay present. It helped me, it's like reminding myself, you may be late, but you got to keep moving. You don't want to make things worse by, acting impulsively and doing the wrong things. So just by breathing, I do box breathing because it's the easiest. Like 4 seconds in, pause for 4 seconds, 4 seconds out, pause for another 4 seconds, and so on. And, the cycle goes on. It really helps me to stay present, focus, and realize what is there to be done, what do I need to do first, and following and so on. I get my system back, and eventually, it before I know it, I pushed through. Like I got through it. I don't know if you can relate to that, but yeah, breathing is a huge thing for me. Also, writing down my thoughts, slowing down, I think is the so the irony of life, right?
Yes.
My cure for patience is to slow down. I don't know if anyone can relate to that, because when I do that, when I think, I write down, I kind of breathe and just withdraw myself from the situation, it helps me think clearer and actually do the right thing and eventually go through that chaotic environment or situation that I'm in.
That is relatable out there, and that does make a lot of sense, because when we're in high stress situation, our adrenaline is rushing and our hearts are beating so fast. What we need to do is slow down and to calm ourselves, regulate ourselves, and so when breathing is a great technique to be able to do that. Again, not a professional here, but personal experience for myself. Whenever I have anxiety or if I'm just stressed, being able to take that moment to ground myself, ground my mind, and just take that moment to breathe, it does help. I completely agree with that, Ate, and slowing down. With writing, I think that's a great tool to be able to do as well. Just writing out your feelings. I know in the past, because I'm not the best writer because my hand gets tired and cramped, but I'll go on if a computer or my laptop is near me, I'll just open up my notes and write down what I'm feeling in that moment by typing it out. And that does make me feel better, because it's that release of what's making me stress. It's like I take it all from what's inside and put it out there, and into a safe space in my notes,
Yeah. And what I realized, to watch a princess, I have a pattern. I have like a pattern of what makes me stressed, what makes me impatient, what drives me crazy, and by rereading those, it's like preparing myself on how to deal with it next time it comes around.
And I think
for those who journal, I know they can attest to this, that by writing your thoughts, you become self-aware and you know how to prepare yourself better when that situation comes back around, because it's a cycle.
100%. Similarly with myself, I also get very hyper aware of how I respond to certain situations. So I try my best to learn from whenever I am impatient for the next situation that might be similar. What I like to do is also talk it out with Kaf already mentioned having the right people, the right support system. And those are the people I like to go to as well whenever I have those moments of frustration, or wherever I feel like my patience is very low or very thin, and being able to talk it out with somebody, not with someone who's gonna like egg you on, but more so kind of snap you back into reality and say, hey, listen, you can calm down a little because I have those people in my life and I'm grateful for them. They're the ones who tell me you might be overreacting or you might not be. And let's figure out ways that would best help you. And it's good to have those type of people who can help walk you through the process, help talk it out with you so you can release that frustration and then go back into a perspective or a mindset that is more calm and looks at the situation or whatever challenge you're facing in a different light.
Yeah.
And that's something that's important, is to be able
Shout
to
out to my husband.
Yeah.
Your husband does that a lot. Yeah. And I think because he's not that emotionally attached to what I'm going through, maybe he's kind of zoom out and see a different perspective where, I don't see a lot of times. It's like, okay, calm down. This is how you do it. This is how we tackle it. Okay, let's do this one first. And before you know it, I was like, wow, that worked.
That is similar to Andrew, my fiance. He's really good at not taking sides, but looking at it from a different perspective, from what I don't already see. He'll ask me questions that kind of go against the grain of how I'm looking at the situation. And at times it'll push my buttons, but for a good reason, because it'll make me stop and think, is my patience running thin because of this? Or is there a different way I can shift my perspective and look at the situation itself? How about you, Kuya Manley? How do you circle on patience? Let's see if he's willing to speak.
We should. We have a lot of things to learn from Kuya Manley. How do you,
I was
stay
wondering how I got roped into this conversation. I guess that's what happens when you listen to INCRadio. Why are we just half in the screen in
I don't
YouTube?
know. Maybe Kuya technically.
See, that's one way of testing our patience. If we're paying attention to Kuya Tech to see if there you go. Now he responds. Now,
They're very patient.
yes, exactly. So both of you are absolutely right. For example, for Sister Princess, you have your fiance brother, Andrew, Ate Mai. For me, myself also, when it comes to whenever I'm about to lose my patience, I usually talk to Ate Joni and then I tell her, let's go drive around for a moment. Because why? Because I just need to vent out. Because that's the thing, is that we don't know the limit of our patience not until we're put into that test. And when you're put into a test, when whatever you think, whatever you decide, it's not going right. So you need a second opinion to listen, not only to vent out your frustration, and at the same time, probably that second opinion, and another point of view, or what I call vantage point. Someone's been using vantage point so many times, so I've been using it also. So another vantage point of the situation. Yeah, not that we're promoting the movie, a long time ago, but yeah, you can look at a problem or situation in different point of view. I always tell my wife and everyone else that we can only do and control what we can control. We can't control what happened in the past, other people, whatever, someone, with their mentality and things like that. We can only move forward with what we can control. So in order to move forward and not lose our patience or test our patience, just move forward with what you can control. Don't try to manipulate the others. Manipulate yourself, because you can control yourself, but not the others.
Oh, I agree 100%. And you know what? It takes patience to have patience for myself.
Very true.
It's too much sometimes, but I mean, we live and we learn. And, it's always good to have those outlets, those people, those support systems, your partner to be able to have the safe space to be able to vent out if need be. And then even for them to snap you back into reality, like Andrew does with me. So, yeah, I 100% agree. And I know we have viewers saying hi, Kuya Manly, in the audience, and they're agreeing with you as well. There's a lot, right, Kuya? So, I mean, with patience itself, there's so many ways we can tackle it. I do want to read some of the insights that we have from our viewers. Kafari mentioned again, patience also involves focusing on your dreams and goals rather than on the short-term reality or actually what's happening. It might just be a temporary setback, but not a total loss. And then Kuya or Ka Anthony says, I always have this pet peeve where someone asks a question with an obvious answer, but you could take a deep breath and just provide the answer. I know those questions, Kuya. But right here we have Catherine. She says, my husband is so patient with me, especially when I'm shopping. He patiently drives me around everywhere. You have the same last name as Ka Anthony. I don't know if I want to.
His son, I think. His parents, brother Anthony and sister Catherine.
And then right here we have let's see who else. Oh, Ka Charles is here saying hello, and then Ka Anthony's just thanking him for taking the time out of his busy schedule. But Ka Flo, Ate Manang Flo is here. She says hi, and she says having patience allows us to think clearly and make sound decisions. Correct. I'm sorry. I'm shocked that you're here. I haven't seen you in a while, so I'm like happy to see your name here. And thanks for tuning in at the Flow for watching INCRadio Mountain States. But anyway, yes, a lot of what the insight that's been provided by our audience viewers as well as at the Kuya and Manly, it's correct, right? With being patient, it allows us to have a clear mind to be able to make these sound decisions, like at the Flow mentioned, being able to appreciate the process, find that happiness in it, and just having that good support system to be able to by Kuya Manly, he left
just like that, he left us.
Yeah, but being able to have somebody or have your people to be able to just vent out to and find your patience through them too. But overall, really at the who is the best one to turn to when we have those impatient, moments? I mean, it's the obvious answer, right?
We just be quiet and pray and ask for more patience, right?
Exactly. It's really ultimately the power of prayer and praying to our Lord God for the patience that we need. It's a lot, and I'm going to expose Kuya Manly before I go into the conclusion. He says his bibinka was getting burnt, so he had to go. So I hope it's good bibinka. But anyway, but no, really, when it comes to those stressful situations, right? Sometimes when things don't go our way, Kuya Manly mentioned it, there are situations we really cannot control. So we just have to be able to manipulate ourselves or shift our perspective and control what we can in that moment. And if it's something we just can't control in the end, we just have to let go and let God and trust him, that he'll take everything for us. He'll take care of everything for us. At the mic, can you attest that this is true, right?
Definitely. If something is not happening, it's not about waiting. Maybe God has, a different path for you, a different plan for you. And so I take that optimistically. Things, God has, a better plan, and he knows me better than I know myself. So just trust in that. And, just what Kuya Mandy said, that's very important. Focus on what you can control, your actions, your thoughts. That's the only controllables we have. We can't control other people nor the situation. So just, do whatever you can and leave the rest to God. Just give it 100%, right?
Yes. I agree, especially this. Every year I say this past year has really tested my patience. God was really, but it's true. Every single year, I feel like it's harder challenges, a harder life to have to deal with. But there's that peace that you find, and you feel when you know that you can let go and let God, and that's where true patience comes from, is being able to just wait for whatever God has planned for you, and just being able to put your trust in him shows that patience. And eventually whatever his plan is, it will be the best plan for you. So I hope that's the biggest takeaway that any of our viewers here today are watching can take away from this, because it's one of the biggest assets in life, skills to have, is to have that patience and to put your full trust in our Lord God and pray to him whenever you feel stressed or whenever you have anxiety, because he will be the one to take care of everything, and his timing and his plans will be what's right and what's best for us. So we wanted to thank everyone for tuning in today in our discussion with practicing patience. Fatima, I think it was a really great discussion. Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. Thank you all. And Ate Flo, thank you for joining us, Ka Anthony, Ka Ferdinand, Ka Catherine, Ka Charles, and whoever is here. Thank you for giving us your insights too. They added value, great value to the show.
Oh, they always do, and I love the value that they bring to the show. It's what makes the show great, because we get the insight from our audience viewers. Before we close out, we want to give some shout outs to the rest of the comments that we didn't get to read yet. Again, at the Flow, thanks so much for tuning in. I do miss you. It's really awesome to see that you're here with us. And she says, yes, exactly, at the Mai, being still and pray for more and more patience is exactly what we need. And then lastly, Anthony Arangay says that, he says that Come Mark Palisak and his family has been so patient with them in Salt Lake City. And so our hearts go out to you. I know that he is currently moving. So that's what Anthony is just, acknowledging the patience that Come Mark Palisak and their family has for Salt Lake City. And so Come Mark, if you're tuning in, hello po. And I know Utah really, really appreciates your time with them so far. And so, of course, if you haven't already, continue to leave your comments with us while we can. We'll try our best to read it. And we wanted to thank everybody for tuning in. But of course, we can never forget to thank our beloved church administration for allowing us to have opportunities like this to broadcast to all of you. Of course, with Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our executive minister, Brother Angelo Eranio Manalo, our CEO, president of Subsea and CFO coordinator, Kuya Manley and Daya. We just saw him, our executive producer, Brother Marlon.
Thank you for stopping by.
Yes, I know. Thank you, Kuya. And then, of course, Brother Marlon Balason, our district minister. And we had Brother Jay Agustin, our CFO overseer, Ka Justin Ramos, our district multimedia advisor, the multimedia team, as well as all of you, our avid listeners of INC Radio Mountain States. Unfortunately, that is all the time that we have for today, but we continue to encourage you to watch our previous shows and to stay tuned for next week's show. And we are here every Saturday at 4.
I am here every day.
We are here though every day. Thank you so much for tuning in, watching INC Radio Mountain States, and continue to stay tuned with INC Radio DZEM 954, changing lives through God's words. Up next is INC Radio Canada. Thanks, everyone.
I just want to promote next week. We are celebrating the local congregation of Las Vegas 23rd anniversary. So please stay tuned. We'll be live.
Yay!
And Reverend from Las Vegas will be joining us from there.
Yay! I love that. I love that. So please tune in next week and have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye.
Bye, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Thank you for your texting, money.